This tutorial is on how you can turn yourself into a sexy mermaid for Halloween and look awesome doing it. So I hope you guys like this, enjoy it. This is a bit of a longer video, so I did skip some parts, but let me know if you want to see how I did my foundation in the beginning, but it's usually the same. If you watch my other videos, it's the same thing. I primer, conceal, foundation. So yeah, enjoy my video. Hope you guys like it. Okay, so the first thing I used was Jessie's Girl eyeshadow primer. I got it in my Ipsy bag like 2 months ago. I guess August or July. But yeah, it is a little more liquidy than the Urban Decay, so I will say like you might want to fan yourself and let it set before you actually start applying your eyeshadow. The eyeshadow palette that I'm using is the Trio from Makeup Forever, the one that you can customize yourself with their artist shadows. And I have a white, a lime green, and an orange in there, but I will only be using the white and the lime green. So this here is the Makeup Forever Artist Shadows palette, the number 2 one of my favorite palettes, just in case you were wondering. Alright, next I'm going to line my waterline with the Shadow Liner eyeshadow pencil from Sephora. It is waterproof and it's number 1 white. And then with that same primer as before, I'm going to go right underneath that because I'm going to add in a little bit of color using those same lime greens as before, as well as going to my electric palette from Urban Decay using colors Thrash and Freak. Those colors are going to be on the bottom right hand side. Now we're applying my Makeup Forever eyelashes, which is probably going to be the saddest thing you've ever seen in your life, but I'm getting better at putting eyelashes on myself. I can do it on other people, but just not on myself. So yeah, but it's pretty pitiful. A lot of blinking and whatnot. That's probably the best I've ever done it, so I decided to include it in this video because I feel like slightly accomplished. Not gonna lie. So before you put on your lashes, you're supposed to tightline, do your eyeliner beforehand, and then you can touch it up after you put your lashes on. But like a dummy, I forgot that step, and so I'm going back in. Did it right the first eye, but not on this eye, because I'm a dummy. But it just makes it a little bit more difficult when you do it after the fact. So you want to do it before, and then if you need to touch up, you can do that. If not, you'll be trying to work around ridiculously long eyelashes like me because I'm extra and got these ridiculous long eyelashes. And then I just blended my lashes into the false eyelashes, trying to get as little product onto the false lashes as possible because I do want to use these again. And now we're going to fill in my brows using those same colors as before in the front, starting off with Thrash and blending that in with Freak. Thrash is the far right color, and then Freak is right next to it toward the inside. And then we're going to grab that color Fringe, which is the blue color on the top right, and that gives me like a little bit of an ombre brow. And then that is Aisha from Kat Von D's Liquid Lipsticks, one of my favorite colors. And then we're going to take Gonzo from the Urban Decay palette, and we're just going to use that to contour my nose as well as outline my lips. And that's also going to be used on my neck when I contour that later. So I'm going to highlight with the white from my Makeup Forever, and then we're just going to blend that together. And we're going to use that on the bridge of my nose, on my forehead, on my cheeks, and on my chin, as well as just below my lips, just below my nose on my widow's peak. And doing all this extra highlighting is going to add to the dewy factor. You know how mermaids are all iridescent, just come out the water with perfect makeup because that happens. It doesn't. Okay, so the next part is the more mermaidy part, I guess, if I don't already look mythical or mystical. But yeah, you're going to want some like old pantyhose fishnets. I have like some rhinestones and jewels that already have adhesive on it. So unless I have issues with sticking these on, then I'm not going to need to use any extra adhesive. However, I will need adhesive for my starfish. These are real starfish, but they're not like real brittle or anything, and they're actually pretty light, so it's not going to be really heavy on your face, okay? So, next. Okay, so when placing the fishnets, you want to make sure to be careful about the eyelashes and everything because they are a pain in the butt. So, be careful not to mess up your eyelashes. And I'm actually tapping the color in. I'm not rubbing it because I don't want to move around the fishnet because that'll take away from the pattern. And the way I went about placing my scales or the color is wherever I would normally contour is where I added scales. And then I'm going back in with that same palette with the bright color and I'm just touching up some of the scales. And I'm actually going to use a gold from that palette to go in between. And that gold is like an iridescent version of my skin tone. So it works out really well. So I would say if you're more of a fair-skinned, you want to come up with a color that's still iridescent, but closer to your skin tone. So go lighter on the gold or more like a pecan shimmer or champagne and so on. You want to go with the iridescent color that's closest to your skin tone. And now we're just placing the jewels that have no rhyme or reason. I have no plan for where these are going. It's just wherever I think they look cool, and I'm trying to stagger the sizes. Like, I don't want too many big ones in one section, so I'm just kind of like making that a little bit staggered. And then yeah, some of the jewels weren't sticking quite well, so I did use my duo, just lash glue, and only a little bit of it to make sure that they last a little bit longer. And then we're going to use one of the smaller pearls to make a little fake piercing. I think it's called like a Medusa or something. Just 'cause. Okay, so here I'm just highlighting using the same white artist shadow from before, as well as mixing it with my Makeup Forever Pro Sculpting Duo Gold Highlighter along my chest. This look does not require a wig, so if you're not going to wear a wig and you don't have long hair, you're going to want to do that because you don't want to look like a mermaid only in the face. You want to make it uniform, and if your torso is going to be exposed, you're going to want to do the same thing on your stomach and contour your abs or stomach or add scales to the side there. And I'm pushing out my collarbones to make it easier to find where I need to contour because you want to contour in the hollows. Then I'm going to take my fishnet stockings and create like a sleeve, and I'm going to take those same colors that I contoured with or did my scales with originally, and I'm going to hold it flat to my shoulder and try my hardest not to move because I don't want to mess up the pattern. And I'm using that same patting motion, trying not to smooth or mix up the colors. We want to keep it uniform, and we want to make sure that you can still see that these are scales. And obviously this is the second way you can do it. The hair is so long, it covers up the scales that I'd done previously, so you can skip that part. I would just maybe bring down some of the color and contour your neck. Other than that, you're finished. Slap on a wig, put on a bikini, and you're good to go. You're a mermaid now. So yeah, thank you for watching, you guys.
people are. I wanna see them dancing, walking